God damn it. How do I do this shit again? Oh.
If I have it, I don't have it. They do have the Enterprise E now available, but unfortunately, I'm not high enough to get the Enterprise A yet.
There's a game that I got into fairly recently. Yeah, this is a game that I've had installed for a couple months already, but I've just recently got into it because I've actually got a run where I'm successful in it now. Vintage Story. It's basically Minecraft for us grown-ups who actually grew up with original Minecraft. You know, before Minecraft went corporate.
Wait, you mean You mean before Minecraft went 4D?
Oh, that's another one that I want to get into. 4D Miner. That's
Oh,
also
oh.
pretty good. But
The videos
I
I've
wanna
seen of
like that
4D
one,
Miner are phenomenal, but since we are live now and we are getting this kicked off, let's get it kicked off appropriately.
oh boy.
Gary, just put
Straw-
down, you don't need to be playing Russian roulette.
Strawberry soju. Let's have some fun.
I wish I could partake.
All right, so before we break off into the serious BS, what about that last strike in the World Series? Oh, by the way, my Rangers won.
I'll be honest, I didn't watch.
I don't watch sports.
Link in the side chat.
Okay.
I mean, was it horrendously bad? Are we talking like Angel Hernandez type bad, or oh god, what the fuck was his name? Fat dude from the late 80s and 90s.
The thing was that the whole series, the strike zone was so fucking skewed that neither side knew what was a strike and what was a fucking ball.
Oh god.
Okay, it shifted. The strike zone shifted 4 inches outside the outside edge of the plate, depending upon which side your batter was hitting.
Well, yeah, inconsistent strike zones are the main reason why a lot of people are pushing for at least what they've been testing in the minor leagues of computer-assisted strike zone calls.
Yeah,
Where
but
they
that
basically
won't
just have a
happen
camera
because
set up
with
with a little
replay.
box on it.
Well, see, here's the thing: is that won't happen because with replay now in baseball, you completely eliminate the umpires, and the
No, you don't.
umpires. Well, that's a small segment of baseball that it really wants their jobs to be kept.
Well, no, so here's the thing. Going with the replays, they have not gotten rid of the umpires. And even if they go to the assisted strike zone, which they have been testing in the minor leagues this past season, umpires are still a thing. Because here's the way the process works. For calls in the field, the managers of either team have a limited number of challenges similar to American football that you start with one challenge, and if you are successful on your first one, you get a second one. That's it from the dugout. The balls and strike calls, it's a limited number per at bat, and it's the batter that has to request it, and it takes 3 fucking seconds for them to do it.
Yeah.
So
I still like the idea of having the umpire there. I get the idea behind strike assisted or strike zone assistance, but with the same thing is that there's always been that element of human error that comes with having the actual umpire there. Yes, I realize we want to get things right. We want it to be perfect. It's a human game. It's the human condition. We're not going to get everything freaking right.
Well, so here's the thing, though, and this is where being a player, someone who actually played baseball at a relatively high level, I am all for the replay assistance and the strike zone assistance calls at the way they have it currently set up, because while it does impede part of that human effect error, guess what it gets rid of? The blatantly fucking egregious calls, like what took the perfect game away from that pitcher for the Detroit Tigers a few years ago. Fucking Jim Joyce blew a call at first base that wasn't even fucking close. Took a perfect game away from this dude.
Hey, that's the same umpire in the same position that cost the Rangers the 2011 season.
See,
He was the one that made the blown call at first base where we actually tagged the San Francisco player, but he was out of position and missed the call.
That wasn't 2011. 2011, you guys lost to my Cardinals.
Okay, it was 2010 then, because I remember saying it was, well, I mean, I'd have to go back and look. But yeah, it was a completely bad call, completely blown.
Well, and that's what replay was put in to get rid of the egregious blown calls that were affecting outcomes of games. So going to this and having a big game on that stage get impacted by a bad call like that, that's just more ammunition to implement what they've already been testing in the minor leagues. So you're going to have players who are going to be used to the system already coming up to play. It's coming, and I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have a major issue with it. But, you know, I like the aspect of the human being behind the plate making the call. Okay? Because some of these umpires will keep consistent with their strike zones to a certain percentage.
Yeah, this past year, there were a couple younger umpires who had accuracy and report card scores in the 99% accuracy. Not just expected, but actual. So there is that potential where the challenge system for balls and strike calls doesn't need to be utilized if you have good umpires behind the dish. No argument for me on that, but if you're not going to fire someone like Angel Hernandez, you need that system in place.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And that system would basically, force Angel Hernandez to be fired.
They thought that was going to happen with the report card system that they put out. However, just like the Major League Baseball Players Union is one of, if not the strongest union in America when it comes to protecting their members, the Umpires Union is probably even stronger because Angel Hernandez still has a job with an employer that he legit sued for discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so Alex Hernandez is admitted to being a diversity hire.
No, Angel Hernandez used to be one of the more utilized umpires in the game. But he has not been even on the crew of a playoff series game for 8 years now? Like 2015, 2016? And it's because his performance is so fucking bad. But he sued the league. He sued Major League Baseball trying to say that, oh, you're discriminating against me because I haven't been put into the rotation to umpire in the playoffs. And then when it went to court,
his own bad performance as racism.
Right, that's what he tried to do, but that's when Major League Baseball came back. It's like, no, it's because you are routinely the worst umpire in the league. To which Angel,
see your scorecards for the last 8 years?
They didn't have them at the time, which is why the report card system came about.
Oh. So now they have to fill all those in retroactively.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that. But now there is hard data and a hard metric going forward that they can then use to grade umpires. Correct.
And the computer assisted system will only just increase the accuracy of that.
Yep.
At this point. Okay.
Because if a catcher or batter disagrees with a call, they can call for a booth review, and there is an official in the press box that reviews the pitch, checks the location with the computer assisted tracking, and then gives the correct call, which then is radioed down to the ump on the field, and the call is corrected. And in practice, it takes literal seconds between the request.
Because at that point, the official is just looking at a grid square.
Yep.
And just, the computer says it's this, so. And unless the camera gets knocked out of place, it's not going anywhere.
And the cameras are affixed to the actual physical structure of the stadium. It's not so the box that's generated on the telecast is used by, I think it's like 3 to 5 cameras on the top of the stadium, the grandstand looking towards home plate. Fixed, cannot move. Unless you're in San
even if
Francisco.
So if one of those cameras were to go down, there'd still be others to keep that box in place and relatively accurate.
Yes. And I'm sure that they would have redundancy in it for other factors, but it is a camera system that is separate from the televised system. And this is one of the things where, even though they've gone downhill over the years, you gotta give ESPN credit, because after they got bought out by ABC Disney, that's what led to the technology of that strike zone being able to be put on screen, and it's led to the proliferation of the pitch tracking that we have now. So the mouse isn't 100% a piece of shit. Just a little bit in the good. Not sure how much else. But speaking of things
on a single instance, which is not even related to its shitbaggery.
Well, this is the thing, is you can take a look at all different facets of a situation and realize that while you may not like a person or organization or entity, the intellectually honest person will call out the good when it exists. Which leads me to one reason why I wanted to have Davros on the panel for this, because, oh boy, have I had fun on Twitter lately.
Yeah, I caught like the very ass end of that stuff.
I'm actually having fun on Twitter.
Oh, Cal, you're gonna love this.
Yeah, I've only caught glimpses of it.
Yeah, so Davros, you remember Anti-Flatter, right?
Yes.
Would you be surprised to get some information that leads to the impression that Anti-Flatter is a raging anti-Semite?
Oh, is this the person that you were like relatively recently dunking on earlier, like today?
Multiple times.
About those little bits of Hamasity.
Yes.
I think is the best way to call it.
Okay, that fucker.
Yes. For those who don't know, that is the person formerly known as Anti-Flatter. A Kiwi. Yes. A Kiwi who has, shall we say, gone off the deep end?
Oh, I'm too shallow for that.
I mean, he's surrounded by deep end. What do you expect?
Well,
at that point, he's just going with the herd.
Well, no, he's trying to be at the front of the herd. Like to the point where he has posted selfies.
One to the bottom of the cliff is a rotten egg.
Oh no, he has posted selfies of himself out at potential pro-Palestine rallies with Arab garb, the scarf, ready to go. Now every time, I think the one he does is a navy blue and white, but it's still
the same scripture on it.
It has the same motif to it. So here's what I find really funny, because this guy is a veteran, and I will give him that. He has,
that's even
but he keeps railing about it. Israel, the relationship between Israel and Gaza and the West Bank being apartheid and genocide. But you know what? I'm going to open this question to the entire panel. Can anyone tell me of a genocide where the targeted population has grown?
That sounds like a trick question.
Think about that for a second. Claiming genocide, yet the population of Palestinian Arabs in the Gaza Strip and West Bank over the last 10 years has grown. Over the last 20 years has grown. Over the last 50 years has grown.
So
since the founding of Israel in, what was it, 1948? has grown.
This anti-flatter person that you've been arguing with on Twitter. So what is their entire deal? Like, what is their argument? That
Jews are the Jews are the bad guys. Palestine deserves to be free in its own state, and keeps
Excuse me? What?
and yet keeps repeating the phrase from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, not realizing that that was actually an anti-Semitic chant in favor of the eradication of Israel.
Do they want to go back to Mesopotamia or something? Like where they actually came from, or what?
Return to the earth, we'll say.
No.
That return.
This is the thing. When you go to the history of both entitled people, as I'll call them, you got your Palestinians one side, your Israelis on the other, right? They're all from the Middle East. They're just born out of different bits of the Middle East. You're fighting over
It's
this
different flavors
piece
of
that's...
goat shagger.
Yeah, but they're fighting over this little piece of land that's, what, New Jersey?
Not even.
Not even. New York.
Yeah. It's about the size of Manhattan and...
A little bit of Rhode Island.
Well,
I was
going to say
Rhode
Long Island. Actually, you know what? Hang on. I'm going to, for shits and kicks, I'm going to grab that map comparison.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Yeah. Are these people standing up for Palestine or Hamas? Right? Because they've got to divide that line like Greta Thunberg did. I know she's a horrible little child, but she stood up for Gaza, not for Palestine. You understand?
And I give her credit for that. Anti-Flatter's not doing that. Anti-Flatter is not willing to draw that line. People who keep repeating that chant and pointing towards that line aren't making the same distinction. And that's where I have gone out and said, at this point, where I'm at, fuck them both. They're both doing fucked up shit. Tell you what, let them wipe each other out, and then the rest of the world takes out who's left because of the fucked up shit that they've been doing. Get rid of both of them that way.
Hasn't
And
that
I just told
already?
you my solution in that conversation, like at the very end of it. Exile both of them to the sea, reduce them to copper-age technology, never let them on land again. That includes the citizens that both of them have overseas.
But that means
all
giving
of
them a boat.
A wooden boat.
I think
That's all they
that
get.
has
Wooden
happened.
boats and copper-age medicine. That is it. If they want food, they can conduct trade, but they cannot own land. They cannot be on land for longer than a commercial trade.
The thing is that I think
They are
that's
not even
already-
allowed access
already
to
happened
modern
before. What they did, at least the Israeli Arabs in the area, they did go to war over this multiple times, and I think every single time they tried, they got their asses kicked. And
7 times since 1948.
yeah, 7 times. So at some, and the fact that they haven't been continuously fucking wiped out to the point of extinction, and as you said, their population is only growing. It seems like they have been very reserved up until this point. That's not to say that I agree with what they're doing right now, but you have to admit they've been very, very reserved up until this point.
And what if they're still being reserved?
I mean, considering that I looked at...
It's barely been going for months, so right now, from what I've seen, it's still entirely possible.
I mean, they have the ability to turn all of Gaza into a fucking parking lot within 24 hours. The fact that they haven't done it yet says a lot. Now, again, I'm not saying that what they're doing right now is right. I'm not making a comment on that. What I'm saying is that they have more. They have a lot more than what they're showing. And also, I was looking at the Israelis' version of their constitution. I don't think it's actually called that. But it states that it has basic liberties and rights of all of its citizens, including the provision that has a collective right of minority groups from the threat of a tyranny of the majority, and particularly Arab Israelis. It is critical to ensure that political participation is open to all and that no minorities are marginalized. So basically, they're saying, yo, join in this. We can actually work together on this. And they're choosing to continuously fuck with them, and this is the result.
Yes. From Israel's inception post World War II, the Israelis, especially the Jewish Israelis, have been more than conciliatory and willing to negotiate and establish a true two-state solution if that's what was wanted. The problem is all of the Arab neighbors have continually held the stance that no, fuck you, Israel doesn't exist. That is the only solution that they are willing to be a part of, still to this day. And yet people want to support Hamas and Hezbollah.
Egypt does
looking at it.
The only thing I want to do to Israel right at this very moment is get proportional with them over the USS Liberty. They actively tried to sink our ship.
I'm
With
wondering
ramming
here, though, because the borders of Israel, I believe, was drawn up by the United Nations, if I remember my history correctly. I could be totally wrong on that.
They started with the British Protectorate following the end of World War I as an initial starting point, but then tailored it down from there.
Back to Sykes-Picot.
Yeah, my thing is that one of the main problems that I'm seeing here when looking at the map over history is that it does say United Nations on here. So the United Nations made it look like a really fucked up jigsaw puzzle, and I was like, oh yeah, that's totally not going to cause any problems.
Where have we seen that before?
Where have we seen that before?
And here's the thing:
you want to fuck with some people in the Middle East? Watch this. And they had some kid, drawing in crayon these fucking crazy ass borders. And like, yeah, that'll do.
Well, and
yeah,
so
we'll get
here's
a two-state system. Picot said, saying Sykes.
Well, here's the thing that really kicked it off at that origination point, which was the ending of the Ottoman Empire, is the Ottomans actually did their internal regional divisions by ethnic majority initially, and then went to political influences after. So they had less internal strife in that area because they recognized these fuckers don't want to get along. Let's try to keep them in their place as much as we can. It wasn't perfect, but it was better. The problem is, at the end of World War I, when the Ottoman Empire was no longer allowed to be a thing, that entire area, not just the Levant, not just what is now Israel and parts of Syria, Jordan, and Lebanon, but the grander Middle East that the Ottomans controlled at the time of their ending, the lines were drawn by the British because of oil and political interests. They didn't give a fuck about the religious or cultural implications. So if you really want to look at where all this began, we can look over at Britain and go, don't you wish you had a TARDIS and could go back in time and fix your fuck up now?
Didn't you wish you actually listened to T.E. Lawrence? The one person y'all had who was boots on the ground? The only British Sultan of the Middle East?
And
the only Brit to have earned the title of Sultan with the common folk in the area?
Now, this two-state solution, it's pretty clear that they actually don't want it. What I would
the Arabs don't want it.
Yeah, that's what I meant. They obviously don't want it. Israel's essentially been given the finger more times than we all care to count. So, in which case, I would just say, okay, here's the deal. You all are going to get the West Bank, and we'll go ahead and give that completely to you. We're going to exit this shit. Gaza's going to fuck right off with their nonsense, and that's going to be the way it is. Gaza has essentially, at this point, I think, been sufficiently fucked over, and I'm pretty sure they got that fucker locked down now. So West Bank it is. If they decide to fuck with Israel one more time, we just let them know that, hey, listen, we were kind last time by surrendering part of our captured territory of Egypt and giving a lot of land back to you after we fucking annihilated your ass in the last war. But if you fuck with us one more time, we're not giving it back.
Yeah, I was going to say...
We're taking you into the middle of the ocean to live.
Well, and that was one thing I was going to mention, Red. The West Bank is technically not part of Israel right now.
Yeah, it's a technicality. I'm talking like, do not make it a technicality anymore. Go ahead and give that to them. It can be their own country, but make it very clear that the last few times that Israel was at war with its neighbors, they have kicked so much ass and taken so many names, and every single time they've won a lot of shit, they ended up giving a lot of shit back, as a gesture of goodwill. Let them know that this is the last fucking time that they're playing this fucking game, and that if they try to fuck with them again, whatever they capture, they're keeping. So if they want to, keep their shit to themselves, then they'll stay to themselves.
Yeah, well,
Anyway.
Israel just keeps on. The way I see it, the Arabs keep fucking up with Israel. Okay, cool. Let the Arabs die out. If Israel wants to, escalate improperly, then okay, let Israel die out. Let them both die out.
Yeah,
They
let
both
them
exhaust
kick
each other
rocks.
to nothing. The West comes in and just takes over.
Well, and that's
Oh,
kind of
no,
what
no,
I
no, no,
alluded
no, no,
to.
no, no.
Well, that's kind of
You're
what I
playing the Holy
alluded
Land
to
for the
earlier.
Christian Church.
No. Oh, no. That will.
That will not do, because think about it. You guys go with, like, if Israel and Palestine delete themselves and you guys go running in there, you got this little problem of Lebanon, Iran, the
Syria.
Saudis, and all that. Yeah, going, excuse me? That's our right, not yours.
Yeah. Well,
who was that
that's.
first?
Well, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. And actually, you know what? I'm going to bring this over. No, I'm not going to share screen in here. But you know what? I'm going to bring this over so at least the public can see what I'm referring to. So I have a map, and I'm zoomed in on the eastern part of Mediterranean, where you can see part of Turkey, Cyprus, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Israel, into Egypt, especially with the Sinai, that upper bit of Saudi Arabia, Iraq. So you get a good snapshot of the area of issue. Here's my thought. Let's look at where Jerusalem is. If people keep, well, it's right in the little notch of the West Bank. It's damn near in the middle of Israel. So here's my
I'm
thought.
saying I can't see it because I'm on phone and phone doesn't let me mute the stream.
Nah. So here's my thought. Let the two sides beat up on each other until one doesn't exist anymore. And then a coalition of the entire fucking world wipes out the survivor and then makes a healthy, and by healthy I mean we're talking, you know what, let's zoom in onto Jerusalem, see just how much of an area we can get to. Where's my legend for distance? All right, that's 5 miles. All right, let's do, say, 100 square miles. Now, fuck it. 1,000 square miles surrounding Jerusalem in what used to be the contested area is now a stateless area with no formal single state government, no religious affiliation. It is a true amnesty area like what Jerusalem was intended to be back in the fucking Crusades, because that is a holy site for all three main denominations of the Abrahamic religions. So guess what? None of you fuckers get dominion over it because all of you fuckers claim it.
You all suck. So
And then eventually
no one
it's
gets
just
what
gonna
they
get
want.
back to, okay, we get a piece of it, and then you two.
Oh, no. No one gets a piece of it. Everyone has equal access with equal rights, equal protections, and equal allowances under the law. That's it.
So just turn it into, the desert version of Anarchy.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, actually, that's a good comparison.
It's a
Because
religious
Antarctica
DMZ.
cannot be owned by any single faction, just like Luna.
Excuse
now.
me. No. Excuse me. Someone did buy the moon. Remember that.
Yeah, but has it been legally recognized?
Doesn't matter. We've still got the piece of paper.
What
What's
I
that
know
piece of
is
paper
that-
going to do to multiple flags that are on the moon? Who else has flags on the moon?
What I know is that if we have Israel essentially making one more last goodwill gesture, but being very clear as to what would happen if they decide to fuck around, that I think even though the people in the West Bank and the Palestinians would be very, very pissed off about it, they would know that they are on thin ice and everything would be taken by Israel if they decide to fuck with them.
Well, here's the thing: is that the West Bank is not ruled by Hamas. It's ruled by Hezbollah. Okay, it's a completely different organization of Palestinians that are over on the other side of Israel. They're on the north, east side.
Lebanon controlled.
Yeah, Lebanon controlled, but the West Bank there. The whole thing is that Israel in '95 gave up a lot of land for peace, and they've yet to receive any peace.
Yeah, this is true, which is why what I'm saying is that they're already making an example, making a really gruesome example out of the Gaza Strip. And they're saying, listen, do you not see how we're able to literally fuck you guys up? So if you don't want us to continue the process of fucking you guys up, you'll accept this olive branch one last time, and it will be the last time, because after this time, we're not going to give back what we conquer. So keep your shit to yourself, and there'll be no problems.
Well, this is where what they need to do is they need to, and don't take this the wrong way, remove Gaza, move those people over towards Lebanon, over past the West Bank, get them out of that little, because they're cornered. They can't go anywhere from there. They're cut off at the sea, and they're cut off by a giant fence.
They're cut off inland by the Israelis on two sides, the Egyptians on the other, because that's another funny wrinkle to this, is the Egyptians know enough to not get directly involved because of what happened last time they got involved.
Well, it's not just it's not just that.
Reamed.
But there's no movement. You would figure there would be at least some movement between Egypt and Gaza. There is none because Hezbollah has blocked it off.
Yep,
they
exactly.
Egypt did get a couple thousand people out.
Well,
but only because, according to headlines, Israel allowed Egypt to do that.
Well, Egypt could tell Israel to go fly a kite. We'll take people in and out all day long. But
because it's not Israel's border.
Hamas has not given any indication to Egypt that they won't demand land from Egypt. And that's Egypt's whole holdup of it is, hey, if you're going to do, the same thing to us that you've done to Israel for all this time, then we can't trust you either.
Israel has been very, very good about their word. When they say that they're going to do something, they fucking do it. The idea that, what would need to happen, I think, is that in order for their threat to still have any weight, even though they should be well aware at this point that they're very good on their word, the United States should have to step and be like, hey, listen, not only would Israel completely fuck you up, but we have over there an F-22 Raptor that just got done railing a line of coke off a stripper's ass. He's ready to fucking rock, okay?
You've been watching Habitual Line Crosser, Reds.
Would you intercept me?
I'd intercept you. Come on, I'll give you a chance. I'll turn off one of my engines. All I had is balloons and UFOs, and I'm fucking tired. I'll just block it out here.
You're so fucking mean.
We need to get that future warrant officer in on this show one day.
Actually, speaking of wars, having seen a particular character in Modern Warfare 3 that looks like Ben Shapiro is funny. He comes in, he kills 2 guys, and then runs away.
Wait, what?
Yeah, go and look it up. Ben
Shoots
Shapiro.
on 2 people and runs away.
Yeah, go look it up.
All right.
Funny. It's not intentional. It's just that he looks almost exactly like Ben Shapiro.
No, it was intentional. They did that intentionally because that was when Ben Shapiro was really starting to get really popular on YouTube at the time. That was the whole deal. Was that he was known somewhat on the internet, but he was more known locally on local radio and certain conservative talk circles.
Wait, which game was it?
Modern Warfare 3, the one that's just been released, like the remake, right? Or the Modern Warfare 2 DLC.
2, but worse.
Yeah, but there's a scene in it, there's a whole fight scene happening in a room. You see this one bloke roll in, the face looks exactly like Ben Shapiro. He clocks at least one in the head and double taps another, and then just you see him run out of the room. It's glorious.
All right, I'm trying to find it. Modern.
Look up Ben Shapiro Modern Warfare 3.
It didn't come up that way.
Uh-oh.
That's what she said.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
I think Cal's found it.
Well, I can't look for it because I'm
you
not
got my
on
problem.
my computer.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't want to be, yelling into a mic over the bullshit that's been happening over the past month in the MWR, because the MWR is full of people and at least one of them is probably going to recommend my ass for UCMJ because of certain things that I probably may or may not say later on tonight.
Well,
about certain individuals.
You're on deployment. MWR on deployment isn't exactly your friend. Even when you're at your home base, it's not exactly your friend. The reason why the MWR even exists is as a flawed attempt to keep people like you from getting in trouble.
Yeah, I know. But the things I'm going to say are probably would get me in trouble anyways if I were in there right now. But I'm not, so I'm letting my hands slowly freeze outside.
This is where you need to make a friend in legal, because you expressing your opinion as an individual is not a violation of the UCMJ.
Yes, however, sergeants major and officers 04 and above will not view it that way because they're are a bunch of fuckheads.
And they would have no legal standing. And if they were to try to NJP you or Article 15 you can then request court-martial.
Because at that point it would be a violation of my, albeit limited, First Amendment rights as an individual and an American citizen.
Correct. You can still be critical of your leadership, just not to their face. And not in a way that is detrimental to the morale of the unit. You speaking to people who aren't even in your unit and just venting is not grounds for punishment.
And right now, I'm not even going to speak about the people that are in my unit. I'm speaking about certain individuals that are way higher up than that, or, in a unit that I'm no longer in. And one individual I can call absolute bullshit on. I know that motherfucker was lying when he was given that little press talk.
Oh, you mean about how the mold is a discipline problem?
It was a discipline problem in some buildings that were properly ventilated when the mold first started showing up. I will give him as much as that. Beyond that first generation of soldiers that neglected their barracks, at least the ones that were up to code for, construction. Beyond that first generation, it's no longer a discipline problem of the lower enlisted. It's a discipline problem of the senior commission, the
leadership.
Yes, the highest levels of leadership for the post, which currently Lieutenant General Jones is a discipline issue on his area, and it is a discipline issue on the contractors, which we've already covered last year that Belfer B80 was defrauding the military of $20 million in bonuses alone that they were faking.
Yeah, it's
So
that's actually
that problem.
actually right at this point. So, a conversation you and I had yesterday. People need to remember when it comes to non-government employee works, i.e., work done by contractors. Oftentimes, that contract is being filled by, say it with me, everyone, the lowest possible bidder.
Yep, the absolute...
Military grade, green as shit.
Make it happen. Make it happen.
And
Make it happen for the cheapest fucking price.
What's even crazier about General Jones's bullshit is that I know exactly which barracks he was talking about in regards to Fort Bliss, and he was not talking about the regular units at all. Because at least from the ones that I lived in, those were all up to code. Those did not have a single lick of mold in them. He was referring to the reception barracks, and you want to know how he's lying about them? His fucking rank. He wouldn't have even been in the reception barracks. He would have just gone to housing for Fort Bliss and just going, oh, hey, give me an apartment on post, or let me file for an apartment off post while I process it. Okay, cool. You're a 3-star? Yeah, we'll let you do whatever the fuck you want. You don't need to go into the reception barracks. And unlike his ass, I was in those reception barracks. Those are not up to code anymore. And that was 5 years ago, damn near. This was summer 2019 I was in those barracks.
Oh, Cal.
That potentially identifies me a little bit. However, let's remember, Fort Bliss, garrison side, fucking massive. I could still be just about anyone that's been in 1 AD for the past 10 years.
So Cal, something you need to remember, and God's Auditor is the one to point this out in the chat, it's fucking Fort Bliss. You kind of need to temper expectations. And I know that because I've been out that way a year? No, little over a year. No, right about a year ago now is when I was last out that way. No,
yeah,
coming up on a year ago. Well, I was out there for civilian work and had to drive past Fort Bliss a few times, and it was, the area is beautiful. I would not want to be stationed there.
Yeah, it's not kind. I saw birds drop during summer. Like 5 birds in the same barracks courtyard. In 105-degree weather. Not good.
Yeah, well, I wasn't even referring to that because when I was out there, it was warm, but it wasn't that toasty, and it's still so the landscape is beautiful. I have some wonderful landscape shots that I took from the mountain pass.
The view of the mountain, even from inside post, gorgeous.
Yeah, it's the rest of the shit that I would be like, yeah, no, not for me. Now, mind you, when
everything else is bleak. Yeah.
So this will date when I was there recently. So right as I was leaving the last time is when they were having the massive when they were starting to have the massive issues of gatherings at the border crossing right there in downtown El Paso.
Oh, when that invasion started getting serious.
Yep, I got out of there just before it was just before it got to the point where politicians were doing photo ops down there.
Are we talking about Ocasio-Cortez happened a couple of years before that?
Yeah, I was talking about the recent ones because this was right about a year ago.
I haven't seen those. And I have a feeling that Fort Bliss still has a couple of those encampments on post for separated children. I saw one of them get erected the moment that shit started kicking off.
Well,
This
so
was
here,
before Biden took office.
this is another thing that I've been poking and having fun with on my limited Twitter interactions. It's funny how when a Republican is in office and that shit starts happening, people lose their goddamn minds. But when it first started happening and there was a Democrat, Obama, in office, not a fucking peep.
It's almost as if one side actively wants it to happen for cultural enrichment.
Oh, no,
They're
no, no,
not
no.
diverse enough.
Oh no! Oh no! 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 I'm talking about separating children from their parents due to the migration issue and being put into separate chain link containment areas. That shit started under Obama.
Oh yeah, that.
There was
It's
a John
only-
Oliver episode
It's
about
only
that.
called cages when one side is in office, but it's perfectly humane and acceptable when the other side is in power? That don't math.
There,
See,
there was
that
a
don't math at
Joan
all.
Oliver episode about that, and the episode is called "Biden and the Border." And here's a brief synopsis: Biden fucked up hard. It was great. It was an awesome episode. Y'all should watch it if you
Well-
want to be completely depressed for the rest of the day.
Well, and here's the thing that I will give John Oliver a piece of credit for. There are times like that a story will come out that even he can't ignore. But what I find hilarious is the amount of bullshit that both sides will ignore without taking a moment to step back and look and be like, whoa, okay, that's fucked up. Wait, you've done this too? Oh, fuck you. And instead of...
That's why everyone.
But that's
I
intellectually
vouch for this.
honest.
Every
We can't
single
accept
one,
that
every
of most
motherfucker,
Democrats.
every motherfucker in the United States should be an independent. Fuck this. Oh, I got to stick with my crowd or vote blue no matter who bullshit. Hate that. Hate that fucking mentality.
Yeah,
Because
which
you're
Blue
not
wave is
independent
destined to fail
thinkers at
anyways.
that point. You're in a club and you don't want to upset the congregation.
Yeah, and that's the majority of people that I've been kind of needling and poking with, and not exactly exposing, but definitely making certain people uncomfortable, because I will be that asshole, be
Joe?
like, oh, that was fun. That one I had fun
Joe.
with. But, well, so here's the thing. JoJo from Jersey, the fucking deviant delinquent from Brooklyn, and there's like at least 20 of them that back in 2015, 2015, were at the White House for an event hosted by the DNC, and it was all of those motherfuckers. And yet, yeah.
So they're all in on the bullshit then.
They are. So the running theory, which I am inclined to believe at this point, is that they are paid by the DNC to push certain narratives on social media. Because if you look at their tweet history, while the verbiage may not be exactly the same because they are rewriting it in their own voice, the talking points are the fucking same.
Yeah, you can copy my work, but don't make it look obvious. Challenge impossible.
Yeah, it's always pro-Democrat, and they are never critical of a Democrat politician.
Because they're all vote blue no matter who. I wonder how much they're all getting paid. And is David Hogg one of those? Like one of them that were at the event back in 2015?
Possibly. I know Dietrich was one of them.
In order for and here's the thing about that whole vote blue no matter who mentality is that if the Democrats actually knew what was good for them, they would all be pleading with Biden to not run for a second term. Every single
And
one
yet
of them would
there are
be like,
still people who want to put the fucking walking corpse in 5 years in office.
Exactly. It'd be like every single Democrat should be like, bro, you are way too old for this job. All right, you did it. You became the president of the United States. Congratulations. Get the fuck out.
Here's your cookie. Go back to your retirement home.
Here's your
DC ain't it.
cookie. Here's your no Raisin Bran cookie. Let's be accurate here. Here's your Raisin Bran cookie. Now get the fuck out.
Here's your 2 scoops, Joe. Go home.
2 scoops. Yeah. Here's your Raisin Bran cookie. Here's your 2 scoops. Here's your pills, and get the fuck out.
Nah, the pills are in the Raisin Bran.
Excellent. Yeah, 2 birds with 1 stone. What can I say? But like, all joking aside, if Democrats knew what was good for them, they would be demanding that Biden leave. They would be demanding that Biden leave office, or they should just make the threat saying, listen, if you don't leave office, we're going to make the Democrats absolutely regret that decision. So if Biden is going to be our only choice, we're just going to vote against you just to get you out at this point. Make a threat and make sure that they stick with it, and that way they're forced to get someone else on the ballot.
Yeah, well, I'm already against Biden because he's already fucked so much shit up.
He's old. Like, you can't even string a sentence together.
Because
Here's
he's
the thing.
already...
Here's the thing, though, is that the problem is that the Democrats aren't going to put up a viable candidate that's going to be capable of taking on Joe Biden in the primaries, that's going to have any of the charisma or charm of Trump, or even that oh good Lord, what's his name? I have to look him up.
The new guy?
The Indian
Vivek.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to bring him up too because I've kind of passively been watching the Republican
Vivek
primary
seems like an
debates.
interesting character.
We're gonna let Uish finish his thought, and then we're gonna get into that.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna get into it. Trust me, because I'm about to say it. The dude absolutely owned the moderator in the last debate. Damn, I'm sorry, but he brought up really valid points to the moderator that he demanded the moderator answer, and the moderator was like, "What?"
He was
Okay.
fighting the moderator and winning?
Yes. Well, so
Yes.
hang on. Let's actually look at this. Let's look at this correctly. For the first few debates and the first few interactions, Vivek was trying to play peacemaker, trying to not be so aggressive, and kind of came out on the wrong side of it. So in this most recent one, Vivek went on the offensive, not just against other candidates like Nikki Haley, but also the moderators for their biased behavior. And what I find hilarious, and actually kind of agree with the moderators on, while Vivek was, his motivation was correct, his decorum and the structure of these debates, he was in the wrong for going after the moderators directly in the way he did. He could still bring up the points in his responses by pointing out moderator bias in his answers. He could have still gotten the information out there, but could have done it in a way that wasn't as combative. However, I understand why he did, because at this point, the person that I would be entertained and kind of leaning towards wanting to be the one with the Republican nomination is Vivek. Because what I have heard so far, he's the least full of shit. He still has that potential for having some bullshit in his past because, well, let's face it, he's in fucking politics right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
But
trudging through the swamp, so who's to say he's not part of it?
Yeah, but
Well-
I don't think. Even though it would be nice to have someone new, the Republicans are not going to pick him over Trump. There ain't no way in hell.
and that's the
The
problem.
MAGA crowd won't.
Yep. Which is why Vivek went and said, "You know what? the two-party system, I'm going to third party. I'll vote the third party for only the second time in my life.
You know, I'm going to go into it with the same standard that I've had all along. I'm going to evaluate all candidates at all levels, at all points, and when it comes time for me to give my vote, then I will vote who I think is most appropriate and most capable of the job. And
no, Jared, that's not what you're going to do. What you're going to do is you're going to ask yourself the obvious question. Let's see, who is the least shit?
That would be also the most capable. That would also be the most capable. But at the same time, I'm not going to lie. I am not going to lie. At this day, in this moment right now, with how much bullshit has been going on, part of me is tempted, just for the sheer potential of what could happen. What do you think a second Trump presidency would look like?
Absolute revenge.
It would be a never-ending clown show, but we already have that with Biden. So I'm predicting it would be a clown show of a different flavor, but it would still be a clown show. It doesn't matter. If it's either Biden or Trump, it's going to be a clown show. With Biden, I mean, the thing is that Biden can't even string a sentence together. He tries so hard just to speak.
He fucks it up even with cue cards.
Red, let's not forget. He's pulled off the impossible. He's fallen up how many staircases? Up! He's
fallen up the same staircase 3 times.
I love the fact
in a day.
It's been so often that the Flurfs are even looking at it going, see, this proves gravity.
I'm thinking that
Flurfs are accepting gravity because of Biden.
if we're looking at this, the Democrats need to go up to Biden and be like, bro, you really need to sit this one out. Seriously, you need to pack your shit, get the fuck out, step aside for someone different, because you're just not working.
Too old.
You're too fucking old, bro.
This is the thing, okay? Is that Biden has are you familiar with the handlers of Camelot, Reds?
Oh no. I have a bad feeling about this.
Okay, all right. The handlers of Camelot were the Kennedy's inside people. They were the ones that were going to continuously see a Kennedy elected at least once every generation. Okay?
Which is why they were sad when John Jr. passed away.
Which, exactly, okay? But it wasn't just John Jr. It was also Robert. It was the other brother, who was the one that died of cancer years ago, about a couple of decades back. The one was a sitting senator for so long, even after Chappaquiddick.
Oh, fucking Teddy.
Teddy, yeah, thank you. Okay. They were the ones that after John was killed and Teddy put his vehicle with the... Okay. If you don't know the story, look it up. But yeah, Chappaquiddick is what it's called. But yeah, she, having a dead body in your car pretty much kills your chances of being president of the United States. Especially when it looks like you completely abandoned the person and didn't say anything about the accident. Okay, so they were the ones that were getting together, and after Robert died, after Robert's assassination, they really had to get their heads together and say, okay, we got to move on to the next generation. Well, they really didn't have a chance until, JFK Jr. showed up.
Well, when John got in towards adulthood, he was out of the public eye enough, but involved and observant of things enough to be considered. But then when he, his wife, and their friend crashed on that plane flight, it set him back. But they're still trying because of fucking what's his name. that decided to go independent.
Yeah. Well, that's because he
The
couldn't. He
current
couldn't
Robert
stand.
Kennedy.
Yeah, he can't stand the way that the liberal left has moved towards a socialist platform, and he said that.
They've been going that way for what, at least a decade now, if not more.
Yeah, over.
15 years is when the shift started.
Yep.
What I'm
So
what I would
under
look for-
Obama or just before him?
Just before.
Yep.
What I would look for is the following. Biden needs to step aside. Trump needs to not even fucking bother. He needs to focus on his legal troubles. We need 2 new people running for office. That's what I would want. And
Yep,
I would say Vivek
that's
is
my
one of
stand.
them.
They, as far as I'm concerned, if we're stuck with another Trump versus Biden vote, it's a choice between cat shit and dog shit. It's just an open-ended question on which shit sandwich has the most amount of guac.
No, see, and this is where I would love to see more people actually put out and point out collectively that if we get another Biden-Trump presidential run, that more people should force the media to talk about the third parties. Look at the other options. Fuck the 2 main parties.
Because at this point, it has become a uniparty, which is something
Yes.
that our founders wanted to avoid.
It's becoming a 2-party circle jerk, and it's like, well, if you both suck and these are my only 2 options, oh wait, there's a third. Well, let's take a look.
No, that's wrong thing. Fuck you. Go to prison.
Hell,
Nazi.
fuck,
You know.
a couple of weeks ago, Hillary herself was calling for re-education camps.
Totally not a communist.
Yeah.
Where is the
well, here's-
Communist Control Act of 1954 when you need it?
You know, McCarthy was a dumbass.
He was just a few decades early.
No, he wasn't even early. He was just a dumbass. Okay, but here's the thing. Trump needs to be kicked off of every ballot in every state due to the 14th. Okay, I'm going to leave it right there.
No, I need you to expand on that a little bit.
Okay, what does the 14th Amendment do?
No,
Does
you're
it say that if you commit a crime against the United States, you are ineligible of
It-
becoming president again?
it is specifically crimes against the government.
Okay, all right. So I'm not saying that he didn't tamper with an election. I'm not saying he did, but I'm not saying he didn't. Okay.
Wasn't it
what
the
he did on
document thing
January-
that they were hammering him on?
Well, the thing is that here's the deal. Okay, he hasn't been convicted of it, but there's enough evidence in Georgia that he should be convicted on. I'm going to say that, and I kind of hope he does. Even if he doesn't serve a day in jail, I hope he gets a felony and can't run for office ever again.
Yeah, because 14th Amendment does require conviction, correct?
Yes.
It does.
Okay.
It does require conviction. Okay. Now the 14th Amendment was set in place because the Union, the northern states, did not want any of the southern officers to be able to run for public office because they knew that if they ran in any of the southern states, they would probably win. Okay. Because they took up arms against the United States government in the Civil War. That was the whole reason for the 14th Amendment to be passed after the Civil War. Okay.
Yep. So that was just security against the Confederacy at that time.
Yes, it was, but it does still serve a valid purpose today.
Yep.
Okay. It's not like, let's see.
And real quick on amendments, like it's just like the Second Amendment. Just because we have M4s and tanks today doesn't mean that those are ineligible for Second Amendment protection. Like privateering was very much a thing.
Well, I mean,
like
you
if
know,
I
and
had the
I'm
money to
not
buy a fucking carrier with full complement and crew, and there was a market open for it, then goddamn, I should have the right to own that carrier by using my money to purchase that carrier.
Do you have a right to establish it as a sea-based airport? That would be the question. Okay, you really would have to work within FAA rules and guidelines there, and I don't think the FAA would be comfortable with you with even an Essex class carrier.
Okay.
Which is a straight deck carrier. Okay, I don't think they would be comfortable with you operating that as a aircraft or as a sea-based airport, simply because there are massive hazards that the FAA has to regulate that they couldn't control with you as a sea-based airport. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, and that's fair.
Okay, all right. I'm not saying you don't have a right to go out and try to outbid these companies to purchase an aircraft carrier, okay? But you got to realize the next ones in line to be decommissioned are all nuclear. They're not going to sell it to a civilian.
Well, the ship isn't even going to survive the decommission process.
No. Okay, it's not like a Forrestal. It's not like a Kitty Hawk or a John F. Kennedy. Okay, it's not. They're they're nuclear based. There's you're talking about hazardous material. You're talking about
classified bullshit that is way above like even the Joint Chiefs of Staff's pay grade.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about stuff. Okay, all right, and they're going to strip everything that would be considered top secret out of that. You're going to get basic. There's basically what's going to be there is an analog. You're going to get an analog compass and an analog wheel. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, granted, those carriers, that's all they had was an analog wheel. But they had the digital compasses. They had all the GPS stuff that, hey, you and I, we go out and buy a Garmin, we're accurate within 30 feet. These guys were accurate within 3 inches in a lot of cases.
Yeah, and I was just using, the aircraft as a general example for privateering being protected under the Second Amendment. And I'm not saying that should be limited to just the latest generation of carriers. It should be any and every vehicle and crew served weapon.
It's all right, you guys
within reason, it should be available to the American public market. Like, hey,
okay,
if you have the money to buy this, we will downgrade it. Remove all the top secret bullshit that the U.S. government has to keep, and we'll just give you the rest at a markdown because having all that top secret shit removed is going to make that product cheaper.
Here's the thing: is Hungary is selling former Soviet MiG-21s, the fish beds or fish bed or whatever it is. Jared, look that up for me.
Which one?
The MiG-21. The one that's got.
I think that was. It's the last one with the intake in the nose, and believe it was called the fish bed.
Yeah, but Hungary sells those, and you got to go to Hungary. You got to go explain what you're going to do. You got to explain how you're going to get out of the country because they won't let you fly it out.
Of course.
Okay. You got to ship that out.
There's no way in hell you're even certified to fly it.
Well, even if you were capable of finding a pilot that would be certified to fly it and certified to instruct you on it,
they're not flying it out.
They don't want to see a plane with the Soviet star flying over their airspace. They saw enough of that during the Cold War and even prior. And you got to remember, Hungary is, one of the countries that faced one of the fiercest oppositions to their uprising in the 50s, and the Soviet Union came in and viciously crushed them.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you've got the right to go buy this, but you've got to abide by certain specifications to get it out of the country, and then you get into the United States, and then you got to prove that it was demilitarized. Okay, it can have the radar system that it originally came with. That's great. Okay, it can have, the avionics package. What it can't have is a weapons package. Okay,
And why can't it have its weapons package?
That is considered military tech to a certain point, and that is actually what the transportation and importation exportation embargoes cover.
Okay, so would it not be feasible to install American-made weapons for it?
no. No,
As a private party, you cannot transport any vehicle that still has military weapons tech. That is the international trade of arms restrictions, which is why gun runners are always illegal unless you are a nation doing sales to another nation. Private party military grade arms sales is illegal for that in international law. So you can
Okay, so
you
that
so
no
you can
longer applies
transfer.
under Second Amendment.
Correct.
Yep. You can go in, and I'm sure somewhere, somebody in a garage, someplace has figured out, hey, if I have this, American fighter, or if I have this, former Soviet fighter, and it doesn't have any weapons grades, and I'll tell you, you probably know the last person I knew with a somewhat more modern than the fish bed, the MiG-21, and I think he had a MiG. I think that he had the next generation up from the MiG-21. I think it was a MiG-25. Okay, but there was an American singer who owned it, but he had to hire a pilot to fly him around in the plane. Okay.
Yeah, I believe that.
Or
And-
what you do is you do the Pepsi challenge and get 7 million Pepsi points and get your free Harrier jet.
They still
Yeah.
hadn't paid that out yet.
And it's actually become case law now.
Yep.
They
Burn-
study that case. They study that case as part of case law.
Yeah, it's case law. I mean, and that was the hilarious part of it is that you're supposed to get a Harrier jump jet. Yeah, right.
Everything else but the Harrier.
Well, and that's the thing is they did it thinking no one would. Some fucker actually did and was like, "Hey, where's my jet?"
You advertise the jet. Where is it?
Yep. But the whole thing again is that I'm pretty sure somewhere, some way, somebody has stepped back and engineered a piece of tech that would tell a gun, okay, we're going to push a button in here on this control stick. You're going to fire, one or two guns, semi-automatic. We're going to keep pushing the button. You're going to keep firing until you expend all your ammo, or, they just quit pushing the button. Okay. Now,
They install a paywall. Sorry, you've exceeded your pushes. Now you have to insert your credit card for another 5 pushes.
No, that's EA. That's EA.
that's Blizzard, dude. That's Blizzard Entertainment, too. And
Oh.
Microsoft is everybody now.
Oh, what? You want that missile package? I'm sorry, but that's a DLC you have to pay for.
Yeah.
$59.99,
For a monthly subscription.
Oh,
But my point is that there are certain restrictions and certain laws on civilian aircraft, and once you buy a former military tech like a jet fighter, it then becomes a private plane. There are rules and regulations on that where you cannot arm them under current FAA laws, under current other national laws and international laws. I think it becomes a war crime if you use it in a time of war. I'm pretty sure it's against the Geneva Convention because some dude did it with a crop duster in World War II, armed bazookas, and rained absolute hell on the German army.
Yeah, I saw Fat Electrician's video on that one, though I forget the
Yeah.
details.
But basically, it was a crop duster that he was flying, and he put bazookas on the wing or on the arm supports for the wings.
Motherfucker
So-
invented Cass.
Yeah, really, man. He was the, but
We had a lot
So
of
there are-
pioneers of modern warfare in the last generation of war fighters.
hey, it's never a war crime the first time.
No, it isn't. Unless you're Canada.
Hey,
Only if
You know
you're
what?
Canada.
This is the thing: is Canada is the greatest successful war criminal in the history of the world. They lure out
invented the
a
Geneva
bunch of
Convention.
Germans.
They forced everyone else to write that shit down.
They literally forced the writing of the Geneva Convention. I mean, that was the great part of it. But here's the thing: is that they lured out because they had no way to care for their POWs during World War II. They had no way to do it. So they piled up a bunch of cans full of food to lure out a bunch of starving German military personnel. And then when they went to the cans to go collect them, they threw freaking hand grenades at the Germans.
And then when they took the survivors, it's just, well, look at the wall, please.
Yep. Gunshots to the back of the heads, everybody. Don't miss. And if you do, it's not just one shot you got in your gun. Don't quit firing until the clip's empty. Until the magazine's empty. Or whatever the Canadians were using for guns.
Probably Grants.
Was it clip fed? Was it belt fed? Was it magazine fed? I don't know.
Doesn't matter. It was brass fed. We gotta expend all the brass tonight, boys.
No, no.
There you go.
We're not going home until all the brass is gone.
And I'm pretty sure at this point, Red's like, oh my God, he endorses genocide. No, I do not.
Where's your
Oh,
sense of adventure?
Reds has got to remember, he's hanging out with a bunch of military veterans tonight. We're going to be sick fucks.
And it is still Veterans Day over there in the States. And by the way, happy Veterans Day, everyone. And for everyone in Europe, happy Armistice Day. May we remember the sacrifice of the fallen.
Yep.
And may we never forgive those who crossed them.
That's the thing though, Cal, is that, and this is one thing, is that ultimately we cannot blame the current generations for the sins of the past. Okay, we're at a point where we can't blame Germany for Hitler, okay? Or we can't
Tell
blame
that to college
Actually,
students in America.
Actually, more to the point, we can't blame Austria for Hitler because Hitler wasn't German; he was Austrian. Let's get that right.
And we can't. I don't think we could blame Serbia for the
Slobodan
Archduke either.
Milosevic. We can't blame Serbia for Slobodan Milosevic. Yes, you're right.
And that was just over 100 years ago now.
No, that was actually 30 years ago. Just within the last 30 years.
No, I'm talking about the Archduke. You know, the Great War?
Oh yeah, you're talking about World War II or World War One. No, sorry.
Yeah,
My
one.
bad.
Yeah. The assassination in 1913.
Jared, where is
110
Jay
years
Bernard at?
Huh?
Where's Jay at?
Probably working or other shit.
Yeah.
Why?
No, I was
Emphasis on
wondering
the
because
other
he's
shit.
because he's usually the go-to guy that I use to play my videos and shit. And I wanted to show everybody where I was at with the Synthahol.
Hmm.
You guys
You just got to go
know-
with soju.
No, because
you
then
gotta
that
go with
ruins
Scotty.
history.
You gotta go with the next generation, Scotty and Data in Guinan's bar at Tim Ford. That's what you gotta do.
No, you need to have a Kanar with MR.
I can't have Kanar.
I
What can you do
would.
with MR?
I would like to get my hands on some Kanar. That would be interesting.
I would like to see what the green. I would like to see what it is when it's green. I want to know how strong that shit was to satisfy Montgomery Scott.
So that's it.
Only if.
Reds, I put it in the side chat. You can play it if you want. I mean, you're gonna laugh about it because what I'm drinking tonight is Bush NA.
Yeah, and it was like one of those. Literally in the side, it gives you suggested videos and it says, "How big is the Warhammer 40K Phalanx?" And I'm like, now that's a little bit more interesting. Let's check this out. Apparently, it's the size of a small moon. Imagine that.
No.
That's not a moon. That's a space station.
That's no moon. That's Yo Mama. Oh, we should have a Yo Mama fight, but have it be completely like Star Wars based.
Yeah, when
That won't last long.
when the first word to describe the phalanx is gargantuan, yeah, you better believe that shit, especially when they're talking about it being gargantuan in terms of 40K scale.
I'm still,
At that point, real world descriptors just don't fit.
I'm still
They're
I'm still
100
hooked
sizes
on.
too small.
It's
on the
not
small
it's not the
end.
size of the ship that I'm hooked on. By the way, the reason why it's coming to my subscription is because I've been blessed. I'll just admit it because it's a certified banger. I've been listening to the Warhammer 40K cover, I guess AI cover of "I'm Still Standing."
Oh god.
It is a certified banger.
AI has gotten good in the past year.
It started out as a meme, and he goes, "Oh, should we tell him that his com's on?" No. Let him cook.
Nice.
I'm still
Well-
standing. It's so fucking great.
Well, since we've gone from the good, the bad, to the depressing, and we kind of need to pick this up a little bit. Hey, Jared, ask me the question he asked me in Discord earlier.
Yeah, shit.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you mean about your liver and heart?
Heart
just-
is 98%. Heart is 98% functional.
Nice.
That's good.
Okay, after 5 fucking heart attacks, which is,
Ooh.
my doctor wants me to donate my body, my heart, to science after I die.
Because that would be a very interesting case study.
Yes, it will be. Okay, and I'm going to get a fuck ton. Well, my wife is going to get a fuck ton of money. Oh, by the way, speaking of the wife, me and Country Girl Strongheart are back together permanently. We are living one state north of Texas and one state east of Oklahoma. So we're in a better place than Oklahoma.
Well, at least
That actually,
At least you have reliable power grid there.
No, not in this little bodunk little town. This is Northwest Arkansas in the middle of the fucking Ozarks. There's no fucking such thing as a reliable power grid here.
And leaded water probably too, right?
No, but it's over chlorinated. You want me to bring my kids in and let them explain to you the taste of the water? Because goat piss tastes better, I'm sure.
your current medical situation, Repent, actually kind of reminds me of what my sister had to go through just a couple months ago.
What happened to her?
So
If
she
you don't
has-
mind my ass-
she has something along the lines of epileptic seizures caused by random sounds or sometimes caused by her allergies to various nuts.
Wow.
Insert joke here.
No,
well-
that's my cousin had seizures and that's nothing to joke about. That's nothing I would joke about. I mean, that's when you talk about
Well, I was
seizures.
referring to the nut bit. Anyways,
Well, even
Yeah.
even still, I mean, anything that would trigger a seizure, I won't joke about because it's for me. That's kind of personal because I love my cousin to death. She was one of the greatest people I knew.
okay. Well, sister has a seizure at work one day, and her heart stops.
Oh,
She was pronounced dead for a few minutes, and then her manager performed CPR and revived her. Sister was admitted to the hospital shortly after to get checked out and eventually got cleared. And then she goes to this doctor that, after a little bit of work, noticed a pattern between my sister's problems and our mother's problems. So the doctor contacts our mother and asks for her medical papers. And mom pulls out, okay, I'll hand you my medical papers if my daughter starts talking to me again. Literal blackmailing under the protection of HIPAA laws. So she cannot legally be touched because of HIPAA. I find out a little bit after the fact, and I'm sitting here going, is there anything I'm able to do? And I spend like 2 weeks trying to find anything, asking my first sergeant if there's any legal recourse I can take against my mother, and eventually I come up empty. Nothing I could do because, one, it's a personal matter, and two, my mother's actions are protected by HIPAA laws because it's her own medical papers.
yep.
And then I come back a couple weeks after finding out I can't do shit, only to find out that my sister had already bent the knee like minutes after that initial call because she already knew that there was nothing she could do. So right now, my sister is keeping our mother on a rather tight leash for what she's able to do, just so the doctor can actually take a look at the medical stuff and see if there's anything that can give a early breakthrough in my sister's treatment for her problems.
Well, here's my best to your sister, and I'm gonna say this with all due respect. Your mom needs to suck a bag of dicks.
Oh, once this whole situation with my sister's medical problems are solved, my sister's already planning to cut all ties with her, and I've been waiting for several years now to see if my mother will ever grow up, and she just risked my sister's life with this a couple months ago. I
Yeah.
have a feeling that my mother's not going to grow up. And she's twice my sister's age. Maybe a little more. Suffice it to say, I'm probably going to end up cutting the last bit of my ties as well.
Well, it's kind of like this.
And she's stopped trying to contact me. Like, she's
Well,
stopped altogether. She doesn't care about me. Because
Me
in
and my
her
father-
eyes, I stopped caring about her.
me and my father have never seen eye to eye. My father is, without going into detail, and I'm not going to say what I call him directly to his face because I call him that directly to his face, but my father, while I was down in Texas, was the reason why I had my own apartment because he co-signed on my lease. Okay, I needed his credit to have an apartment down there. Because my credit, let's face it, is shit. Okay.
All right.
I got a bad deal on a trade school that I personally went and did everything for. Yeah, Hillsdale College, don't use them. They were shit to begin with. Yeah. Okay. I learned no skills and have no way to apply what I learned from them to any employer that would hire me in that field because no employer will. Right? That's number one. Number two, my father and I had some bad dealings after my mother passed away. Dealing with her estate, and things were promised, never paid for. Okay. But my mother-in-law, we lost her April of 2021, 2022. My mother-in-law passed away April 2022, which kickstarted a whole downward slide for me to the point that I ended up AA, Celebrate Recovery, all those programs, you know, that whole thing, which is the reason why I'm drinking Bush, non-alcoholic tonight. Because I just went on bender after bender after bender after bender. Okay. Well,
Just depression
during
spiraling.
do what?
Just depression spiraling and alcohol.
Yeah, well, alcohol is not my friend. That y'all saw
It's
me at
nobody's
some of
friend.
my worst. Y'all saw me at some of my worst. Okay, I will say that. You can go back through the archives and look up where I was absolutely trashed on the show. I mean, and Reds, this is nothing personal, but the night you and I had the gun debate, which was how long ago, Jared? 3 years?
2 to 3.
4 years? Yeah. Okay. I was completely trashed before that show. But, you know, so like I said, you guys have seen some of me, you've seen me at some of my worst. Okay. But my dad, after getting me set up in the apartment, paid my father-in-law off for Strongheart to get a lawyer to divorce me. All the while telling me, my father-in-law telling me that my father wasn't paying any of the money, but yet my dad was paying everything. I have no relationship with my dad. Okay? Because he absolutely tried to sabotage my marriage. He tried to plant thoughts in Carolyn's head. Okay? He gave no thought and no fucks about what I feel, but the man's a Democrat. Okay?
Right.
So overall, my father has been a trash human all my life. I'm not even going to go to the physical scars that he's left on me because, yeah, he was just that. But he's a trash human. I have no contact with him now. I'm so glad for that because my brothers have tried to involve my mother's sisters, and my mother's sisters have told them, we don't want your drama. You're either going to talk to us about you. We're not going to mention anything about you Ished. We're just going to go and do this. Okay? But here recently, my little brother's been messaging me on Facebook with a whole lot of information he shouldn't have, and found out that my wife's stepmother was giving everything since I've been in Arkansas. Been giving all that information to my dad, and my dad's been throwing it to my little brother so my little brother could throw it against me. So I don't have, other than my mother's sisters, I don't have any contact with any of my family. And I'm better off mentally for it. I will say that.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got a lot of shit family members.
Shit.
To say
You're
the least.
insulting shit. You're insulting shit to say that.
Yeah, I know. But it also sounds a bit like my friend's extended family, who 2 aunts and a married-in uncle who dishonorable discharged back in early to mid-2000s for potentially roofing lower enlisted members when he was a commissioned officer, supposedly in the 82nd Airborne.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
go there.
this was, yeah, part of that fraternization was him cheating on his wife. But
Well,
those
isn't
two-
that lovely?
Those three individuals disowned my friend, only to find out that none of those three were in the grandmother's will, who just recently passed, like last week. Sorry, man, that I'm bringing that up, and I know you're watching, but this is. I know that you're probably going to be relating with you wished here a little bit because families are shit in some regards. We all have them. But yeah, sounds like a little bit like that situation, except my friend got fully disowned by people who aren't even of the name anymore,
Oh,
and people who were looking for a quick handout from their dying predecessor, only to find out that the dying predecessor knew about the bullshit all along and struck all three of those greedy individuals from the will.
Well, my dad told
Entirely.
me that if I reunited with Country Girl, okay, Country Girl, after my most recent heart attack in early August, okay, Country Girl drove down from Arkansas to Texas just to check on me, okay.
Yep.
Now my dad was upset with my roommate because my roommate had told my niece, no matter what, she's never going to be a boy, okay. Now,
Ooh,
okay,
I mean-
all right.
I've got my own issues with that. However, we're not going to touch on that right now.
Okay, we're not going to touch on it because there are a whole lot of other underlying issues with my niece that even my brother doesn't know about. Okay, but
And I'm not going to touch on that myself because I'm only going to be looking at it from a social political standpoint.
no,
And
this is she's not even 18 situation, and there was a 24-year-old guy involved who hasn't been seen in 6 months when I found out.
When it comes to family, I don't like the idea that the whole blood is thicker than water bullshit. No, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
no
I
one
kind of
should.
disagree with that.
yeah, for
It's a personal thing. I don't give a fuck. If someone else gives a fuck, then good for you. But I personally don't. I got disowned because I didn't agree with a certain thing, or I guess I wasn't as receptive as I could have been. I don't know. I have a cousin. I will not be naming any names for obvious reasons, but she went into the industry, if you know what I mean. And yeah, she went into the industry and did a whole bunch of stuff that I'm pretty sure she's regretting right now. And when I wasn't as, I guess, supportive as I could have been, that absolutely nobody wants to touch her now, and she feels, used and violated because, let's face it, she was.
Oh no, it's the consequences of my choices.
Yeah, and so what I did was
well.
I kind of did my own little version of playing the world's smallest violin, and they did not appreciate that. So I guess I was disowned by her, and I just found myself not giving a shit.
because
Like,
you're
at
not
all.
the one that made those decisions in the
Not
first
not
place.
even in the slightest did I give a single ounce of a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, if it weren't for the fact that it was my niece, okay, and it weren't for the fact that she's not 18, and at the time, 2 years ago, he was 24. I would have given no fucks. Okay, if it wasn't my niece, it would have been a news article that I read. Okay, that's how much it would have affected me. Okay, I read a news article. Okay, but the fact that he was still in town and still harassing her 2 years later, I took care of business. Okay. Uncle Curtis has, you know,
Just wanted to talk.
a softball. Uncle Curtis has a softball bat with a nice little crease in it.
Just wanted to
I'm
talk.
going to say it because no, the bat wanted to talk to him. I didn't want to talk to him, so the bat did all the talking.
Just
You
like
got
the
the
world's
point
smallest violin did all talking in my space.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, needless to say, but that kicked off a whole lot of emotional and mental trauma for my niece that she never got counseling for. And she's got issues. Okay.
Yeah.
Regardless of the trans issue, there are other issues that were underlying to that may or may not have caused that. But
Yeah.
they never
Right.
broke through to those other issues. I'm the only one she's ever told because I'm the one unhinged enough in the family, and she's always been told, hey, UISH is the one you need to go to if you ever have issues. And the one time she does, all of a sudden I become the bad guy. Now,
Because all of a sudden you're out here actually solving problems.
Now,
And oh no, it's
Is,
bad.
are we in the ranting part of the conversation, or are we in the finding
we're
solutions part of the
done with the
conversation?
rant. We're done with the rant. This is the final part of it. Is that in the course of talking with one of my friends after the incident, because my friend was a friend of my son's before he became my friend, because my niece started preaching the, whole liberal trans agenda to my kids, my son felt uncomfortable. Both of my sons felt uncomfortable hearing it from her, and they asked their friend to, kindly, tell her to back off of it. She didn't do that. My friend ultimately did tell her to back off of it. He wasn't very nice about it, but he told her, look, you live in one of the most conservative counties in Henderson County. How long do you think you're going to be able to hide all this? And my father and my younger brother took it as a threat. My older brother hasn't said anything about it, but I'm pretty sure he took it as a threat because she didn't show him the Facebook post. I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I would say-
a month and a half after I took care of business, I had a heart attack. I wonder why the freak I was so stressed.
Yep.
Hmm.
I interrupt this episode of Dr. Phil to make an announcement. I will be heading off right now because I actually have to do a lot of shit tomorrow, like, work. But before I go, I did want to make a clarifying statement because I know there might be some motherfucker that tries to take me out of context. When it comes to the whole adult industry thing, oh, you're saying that that's not real work or whatever. Look, if that's what you want to do with your life, more power to you. The thing is that I just don't give a shit when you come crying to me after the fact, because those are the consequences of your own actions. You knew what you were signing up for, all right? So
The fact
You-
that
you
you're
fucking-
crying all boo-hoo now doesn't change
like-
the
like,
fact
yeah,
that
you
made
signed up
those
for this
decisions
shit.
However many years ago.
You're crying. She's crying. Okay, all right. With all due respect to your cousin, Red, she's crying because her body count is now so high. No decent dude will look at her and go, "You're a type of girl I would want to date."
that's we have a word for that. The word is called standards.
Which a lot of people from the industry don't even know anymore.
Yes, and here's the thing. If that's what you want to do with your life, more power to you. And I fully support you to make those decisions. But you have to understand that those decisions are your own, and you alone will have to deal with those consequences. So
Yeah.
but like I said, if that's what you want to do, more power to you, and I support your right to do it. With that being said, I am going to head on out. So I wish all of
All
you
right.
a very good night.
Yep. See you, Red.
Thanks for
Good night.
coming up.
Yeah, I will say on your niece, wished that I would try and continue steering her clear of trans stuff because there's a lot lot of things that
The problem,
there's no
the pro-
return. There is no
is-
return trip, Mr. Frodo.
Well, the
There is no return
problem
trip,
is
Mr.
that-
Frodo.
The problem is that when my brother was looking for all this mental health help, okay, his wife took over, and she's one that told me point blank, communism is the only way we can make sure everybody is equal in the U.S. She told me that before they got married. She told me that. She told me that point blank before we got married. Okay, now she read the RevCom manifesto. Okay, and if you don't know what RevCom US is, I strongly suggest you look up that website. It's RevCom, RevCom.us.
Let me guess, revisionist communism.
Very much so. Bob Avakian is their leader. And if you don't know who Bob Avakian is, you might know Carl Nix and Sansara Taylor because they are his mouthpieces now. But Bob Avakian.
This is the first time I've heard of RevCom.
Okay, all right. Are you familiar with Berkeley versus California?
No.
Okay. All right. This is where when under Reagan, when Reagan was a Democrat,
Oh, this goes way back.
it goes that far back. Okay? Bob Avakian was the one that secured the right of free speech, even for revolutionary communist ideas.
Oh,
Okay.
and they're not supposed
And
to
he
have
was-
rights.
And he was a communist in the 1960s. He's still a communist today. Okay. If it
Shouldn't have
if it weren't
1954 taken care of that problem?
The problem was that we didn't have McCarthy 10 years after we got him. But Bob Avakian has on the revcom.us website his manifesto. And if you read it, it is a very, 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 and if you go to my YouTube page, I have videos about it. Okay. I'm half sloshed through the majority of the videos. I don't care. I'm not going to redo them now.
A little late.
You know, I mean, I don't care. I've already called them out for what they are. The reason why RevCom US and why Sarah Taylor hasn't sued me and why Carl Dix hasn't sued me is because they all know I'm right simply by reading. I read the manifesto. I pulled it up. I downloaded it. I did everything right. And they're still out there. They're not getting as much airtime now because thankfully, you know, there's others like Tucker Carlson and you know, who's the other Fox News mouthpiece that not Bill O'Reilly, who was the other guy?
Oh, I don't even know anymore.
Hannity? No.
Sean Hannity, thank you. Yes.
Okay.
They had Sansara Taylor on back in 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, and they embarrassed the fuck out of this one. Okay. I'm sorry
Oh,
about your
no.
monetization, Jared. You know, but
Oh, we're well past the 30-second mark. We're good.
Jared's like, it's already yellow. That was what the snare was.
Oh, of course it's already
Actually,
yellow because YouTube is run by a bunch of fucking commies. So that's
Actually, hang on. Let me go check. Because
I have a feeling.
I'm surprised it's even still live.
Wow, that's a good sign.
I'm just trying to.
And yep, we're limited.
Fuck.
Well, I figured
I
after
wonder
the
what
first
did it in.
bomb I dropped, we were.
I wonder if it was the talk about the Middle East.
Oh yeah,
shenanigans.
it was definitely that.
Oh yeah, because the establishment is currently pro-Hamas.
I wouldn't say the establishment is currently pro-Hamas. There is
No,
definitely
a lot
large
of people
majority-
in office are going pro-Hamas,
But okay, all right. Now,
and MSM is
when you're
running
talking
along
about
with it.
when you're sitting there saying the large majority of people in office are pro-Hamas, I need citations for that. I'm sorry to ask, but I've got to have those.
I'd have to go dig those up, but
Okay, all right.
they were the ones that I
Outside
saw
of-
were all Democrat.
okay, all right. Outside of the big four, okay, the squad, okay, that would be Ilhan Omar. That would be who's the other Islam woman that's in office? That would be AOC. Toledo
Illinois,
Rashid, yes,
Rashid, Tlaib.
Rashida Tlaib or whatever her name is, Tlaib, and that would be AOC. Okay, those are the four main mouthpieces of pro-Hamas rhetoric. Okay, now
Okay, maybe it was just those four that I saw.
it's been just those
And they
four
were
because
probably
Chuck
just
Schumer-
everywhere.
Chuck Schumer has taken exception to the fact that the Republicans would demand that. Was it Omar or was it Tlaib that got censured lately?
Tlaib.
It was
Tlaib was the
Tlaib. I
one
think
that
it was
slept
Tlaib.
with. Wasn't Tlaib the one that slept with her brother, or was that Omar?
Yeah,
No,
she was
that-
married to.
Elian
No, that was-
Omar married
was Omar.
a brother.
Yeah,
When it comes to
when it
Mostly
comes to
non-Christians,
perversion, the
it's no
survey says Islam rules. Sorry, I had to throw that out there.
yeah, when it comes to them, there's no difference.
Oh my God!
They don't
hang
care.
on a second. I gotta add a friend to this whole thing because he's Islam. He's former Navy. I've been trying to get him on this freaking panel forever and a freaking day just to have an Islamic voice. Hang on a second.
And when I say them, I'm meaning the fundamentalists. The ones that sell their children.
He's not a fundamentalist. He is
Okay, he's cool.
he is very, very. I mean, for a. I'm going to mute myself because I'm going to call him real quick. Hang on a second. But he is for a Islam. He is very, very conservative. Hang on a second.
Well, and that's the thing is Islam by itself does lend for very traditionally conservative people, but it also is a fast track to fundamentalism, especially religious fundamentalism.
Zealotry.
And yes, it's there. All religions have it. Yes, they have a slightly higher incident rate of it, but because
Slightly?
it's not. It is a relatively small percentage that are actually that bad. They're just the ones that get a lot of the press.
limelight. Okay.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing that a lot of people need to remember and realize is that when you look at extremists, and especially what hits the main media and news cycle, it's a microscope. It is an exaggeration of the actual. And the problem is your silent majority ends up being culpable because it allows a lot of the worst part to keep going.
Because the silent majority stands aside, wants no part of it when they're the ones that have the power to end it.
Their silence is a tacit admission of it. And that's the problem.
Instead of open castigation.
Yeah.
And we need open castigation.
See, those are 17. Which ones are... Okay, that's those ones. All right. Sorry, I've been kind of shopping on the side because there's a trip that the wife and I are doing, and I feel like being that typical type of asshole during it. No, so we're going to be doing a cruise right before Christmas, and I'm actually going to do a lanyard to hold the ID tag when I'm on the ship. And I actually found a decent U.S. Navy one, so I was like, yeah, you know what? What the fuck can I add to it? So right now I'm actually going through and it's like, yeah, I should probably get another set of my... I could get my rank and pin that on there. There's a spot for that. I can get the miniature warfare pin, put that on there.
Speaking of trips, did you and Reds ever do that trip to Flat Earth Pizza, or is that still on the table?
No, that was... I don't know if that's going to actually happen, but it's...
Still an idea, at least?
The idea has been out there, but I don't know if it's actually going to end up happening because of other things.
Things that you don't want to talk about online?
Well, no, it's more, I don't know what life is going to bring, because actually, this is a decent moment since we have a little quiet and a little lull for those people who haven't been aware and paying attention and missed it last time. What's this? Aww. Oh, thing's still alive. For the people who might have missed it. So I have totally fucking loaded up my schedule. So right now I'm working second shift full time, making pretty decent money.
Okay.
But I'm being a bit of a greedy asshole, and decided to actually get my master's as well. So I'm in class full time in the mornings as well. So yeah, I've been busy doing school and work.
And when you're not doing either of those, you're probably asleep.
Yes, because that's all that I have time for. So right now, my schedule, I leave the house at about 8 in the morning to go to class until noon, to then work from 2 to 11. So I'll leave the house between 8 and 9 in the morning and not be home until between 11 and midnight and go right to bed. Start it all over again. Trying to... I want a size of this item. See, those are the... Can you give me a size of the item, you bastards? Of course not, because you're going to be just that. Fucking bastards.
Oh, we didn't even touch on that other aspect of Israel-Palestine yet. That conflict is directly responsible for the current recruitment advertising going around. Remember
Really?
how the Yes. remember how the military has been trying to recruit everybody but straight white males?
Among
for the
other
past
things.
5 years. Yeah, well, the most recent Army advert is a whole bunch of straight white paratroopers, male, all of them. Jump into the unlimited, be all you can be, and everyone is shitting on the U.S. Army Recruiter Corps for what happened to all of your diversity, equity, and inclusion. I thought you were diverse, equitable, and inclusive. Where's your transgenders? Where's your people of color? Where's your lesbians with 2 moms? Oh, we're not about that anymore? Well, that's a sign we're going to war. Oh, the Marine Corps just canceled their 248th birthday ball? Yep, we're going to war. And since the majority of the U.S. population has been vilified by the government, yeah, no, fuck you. We're not going to war. Not for your Israeli masters. Fuck you. We're not dying for oil. We're not dying for Raytheon. We're not dying for Netanyahu.
Yeah,
you.
well,
And frankly, I don't want to go to Israel either. Fuck them. I don't care if I'm currently in. I will file to be a fucking objector. Just so I don't get deployed to the Middle East. And then once that's over, I'll file to be no longer an objector. Or I'll just get out. Because right now I'm looking at a roughly 1 year time in inactive ready after my active duty is up. So if we are going to go to war and if they do want to pull my ass, they better do it now.
well,
Otherwise, 2025, I'm basically out.
well,
Like, basically out.
well. Here's the thing: is that is also. Let's just say there are clauses to where they can get around that, especially, and the Army is the most notorious for flexing it.
Of course.
What do you mean, Katie? What do you want?
Would I be able to keep the current time on my contract if I switch branches?
No, you would have to extend.
Fuck. So that would mean I would have to get a whole new contract in which I would have to spend possibly 6 years in active ready after my initial take. Because I'm already looking at roughly 7 years active and roughly 1 year inactive, and I'm still on my first full contract.
Yeah, if you were to cross to a different branch, you would have to extend.
So I would have to go beyond 10 years at least. Fuck.
Yep.
So padding out is the way to go then. That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. Anything to not become a statistic for, Israel.
That's why I was never deployed overseas.
You lucked out in that way.
Well, my job wasn't as critical versus some of the others.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want the collar device. That's the one that.
Yes, me.
I should have gone drone operator. No
Well,
chance of me physically going overseas. Not a final Reaper.
Yeah, I was an aircraft mechanic for active duty, and then in reserves I became worked in comms.
All right, I'm back. So
Welcome back.
since we talked about Israel and Hamas and Gaza and all that good stuff, let's talk about the real tomfuckery.
That don't really narrow it down.
It doesn't.
If I run somewhere, where did I ran to?
Oh, that's where I said it doesn't really narrow it down, because not only have you had Iran fucking around with the shipping,
I mean, they've got
We
the Houthi
basically
rebels
had
down in
our
Yemen.
administration fund that initial
Yeah.
attack, and with that $6 billion being unfrozen for Iran's humanitarian efforts.
I don't have any faith in the Biden administration to do anything it says it's going to, because how many missile attacks have there been on freaking U.S. bases in the Middle East, either by Houthi rebels or another proxy of Iran? I mean, we know this is going on.
And how many of those attacks that have happened in the past 30 days have been directly funded by those $6 billion that were just unfrozen?
Yeah.
Which means that Biden actively wants our people dead.
And I'm willing to charge. I'm willing to have Donald Trump charged for election interference under the 14th Amendment. I'm more than happy to have Biden done the same way for just recent activities.
That would be
Biden
direct.
needs to go.
That would be
Biden
high
needs to
treason,
go.
and that would require him to face the wall.
Well, I mean, we're not.
He's not.
We're not.
He's not making it to the
country that-
retirement home. He's making it to the retirement hole,
Well, okay, all
the
right.
unmarked
Here's the
one.
Here's the thing, okay? If we're capable of proving Biden mentally competent, which we're not going to be able to do, okay?
Because
Trust me.
they're never going to issue that test.
No, there is enough evidence of Biden speaking in public and having nothing coherent come out of his mouth for 10 to 15 words. There is no way we can legally prosecute him because of that. Okay? When I say there are certain things that are occurring behind the scenes, he's going to be pushed out before the Democratic Party ever gets its act together. Trust me, there are things happening with Congress that we're setting him up. The Republicans are setting him up to be 25th Amendment. Okay, to be the first president to be pushed out because of the 25th Amendment. Okay, he has enough out there. There is enough evidence out there that he is incapable of performing in the role of commander-in-chief. Okay,
And we have, 3 years of evidence now?
yeah.
Huh. And his
Now, wait,
handlers
Cal,
have
wait,
been
Cal, wait,
trying to
Cal,
obscure
Cal,
that.
Cal, wait. Okay, and the reason why I want you to wait to say anything is because of the four of us here on this panel, you're the only one that can face anything for what you say here. Okay.
Because of my current status. Correct.
Okay.
Hence why
so,
I walked away from everyone else.
So there is even this YouTube video, even if Jared deleted it, would still
It's
be
still
on the
archived
Google.
somewhere.
It's still archived, okay? Which is why I want you to shut the fuck up, okay? And it's not a personal attack when I say shut the fuck up. I'm trying to protect you. Get it?
Yep. I know.
Okay.
And Jared also told me that as long as I'm speaking as an individual, in theory, That
and
should not be a problem.
and leaving specific details such as names of targets out.
Yeah.
Okay, but I would rather not risk Cal in his current position and in his current field. I would rather not risk him face consequences for something he might say. Okay? I don't know what he's going to say, but I want him to choose words very, 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 very specifically and very, very, very carefully. Okay? And that's because I don't like everybody on VTW. There are people on VTW that can't stand me. There are former members I already know that were on panels 4 years ago when I first joined up with VTW that didn't like me. Okay? That still can't stand me. Okay? I would like to get along with everybody, but unfortunately, yes, there are those that I politically differ from. There are people that I differ from in various other respects. Okay? Just like there have been members of this panel that have left because other people were on this panel. And Jared, you know exactly who I'm talking about without naming names.
Yep, I know that one too. Well, at least one of them.
I know one person who left, but yeah, I'm gonna leave the rest of that thought to myself.
I'll say
left.
that I take responsibility for at least one of them.
I'm not throwing stones here, okay? But I would say, Cal, if you know somebody that left because of something you said here, okay? Because I do still talk to this person on occasion.
Yep.
And I disagreed with that person, okay? And that person would be the first to tell you, hey, we did not get along, but he tried to be understanding. Okay? Maybe you need to reach out to that person. Okay? I'm going to say it like that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what you should do. Okay?
But
because
just that the
you
general
know what?
course of action is an option.
Okay. All right. So, but if I knew why other people left this panel because of me, I would make every effort. I would make every concerted effort to make that right. Okay. All they have to do is reach out to me and say, hey, this is why I don't want to be back on the show because you were there. Okay. You said this and I just can't get over it. Okay. I would make every effort to apologize for offending that person and going that route. But back to my original point. Okay. Biden is a problem that the Democrats do have, just like Red said. Right? Biden is at this point senile, in my opinion. Okay. Now watch, FBI will be knocking on my door in the morning.
Here's a disclaimer that U-Wish does not have any intent to kill himself.
FBI, open up!
Thank you.
Waiting for it.
That's the only appropriate clip.
And then you wish.
I mean, well, you know, considering that, you know, in my previous apartment, getting maintenance to come out and check on anything was a major issue, unless it was a water leak. No, I had a gas leak in my apartment for 4 days. I slept in my car in the parking lot for 4 days.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds like a discipline issue.
It was so bad that I could not close my door. I went over to the manager's office and said, "Look, my stove is leaking gas." And she's like, "You're stupid. Just go make sure all your knobs are off." All my knobs are off. The fire department comes out and shuts gas off to my stove. Okay, because I all my tools were at my dad's at that point. Okay. So I didn't have anything to turn it off with, and you couldn't turn the gas cutoff to the stove off. Well, when they turned the gas off to the gas cutoff, off, the leak was behind the gas cutoff.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. And I've been complaining about this gas leak for 3 days to the manager of the apartment. So I just shut everything down and was sleeping in my car for 3 days or 4 days. My dad, when I notified him of the gas leak, hoping that he would actually be able to get a hold of the slumlord and tell the slumlord, hey, look, there's a gas leak in my son's apartment. I'm on the lease. Would be able to do something. No, my dad called the police and told the police my son's suicidal and trying to kill himself by gassing his apartment out.
The fuck?
Fucking asshole.
of course, because
Yeah.
he tries to ruin your life with false allegations.
Yeah, he's been doing that since I was born, basically. So yeah. But I was born with a bigger dick than him, because the first thing he told my mother's mother was, that boy put me to shame the day he was born.
Damn.
And when my grandmother asked him why, he looked at her and said, because this Peter is bigger than mine.
Oh, that is literally the reason.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Imagine being
And-
put to shame by a literal newborn over genitals. Could not be me. Could
was my
not be
dad.
me.
That was my dad, but there are other family secrets that I'm not going to disclose here. Jared, let me know when we're off the air, because there's one thing about my dad y'all need to know, because y'all will fucking go and laugh at the same fucking time.
What?
But
I'll just say this right now. What a fucking bitch.
yeah,
To
he is.
admit that he got punked by a newborn over penis length.
Yep.
Absolute bitch.
Well, when your newborn's dick is bigger than yours at 23.
Sounds like the newborn ain't the problem.
Never has been, but the newborn's got the scars to show that he had proved himself bigger and better than me his entire life.
Still a
Sad to
bitch.
say, sad to say, I know his second wife is rather disappointed in his dick. So, but neither here nor
Yep.
there. Biden has major issues with his cognitive ability and with his mobility abilities. Okay. And the news media continues to give him softballs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're not allowed, the liberal news media, the major four, CNN, CBS, NBC, ABC, they're not allowed to ask the hardball question. Okay? But you look at every Republican out there, from the current list of presidential candidates, excluding Donald Trump, and Trump's an issue right now with the Republican Party.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, will Donald Trump ultimately, if he can delay his felony charges long enough to become president, will he become president again? Unfortunately, yes, he will.
Because
Okay.
of his
No.
cult following.
Unfortunately, no, he won't, because of Kennedy. He's going to steal votes from Trump.
I don't think Kennedy will. I think Kennedy is going to take more votes from the Democratic Party, because there is that name appeal. There are people who
No.
still.
His own family
Remember-
has disowned him for it.
Well, the whole thing is that they've had to make a public statement. From Maria Shriver throughout all of his cousins, and throughout the successors to the Camelot infrastructure. Okay, and when I say the successors to the Camelot infrastructure, it is those advisors that studied under the previous advisors that learned their craft from John F. Kennedy's advisors. Okay. And there are a litany of people who will say Kennedy's been disowned by his family because he's running as an independent. He's not running as a true Democrat. Okay? Well, you look at the most successful independent sitting today in public office. Who is that?
What, independent?
Yeah.
No idea.
Who's a Democratic socialist?
No, you said independent. You didn't say Democrat.
Yeah,
You said
yeah. Bernie has mostly. He's only run as an independent twice. All the rest he's run as a Democrat before and after.
Currently, he sits as an independent.
Why did it
Yes.
have to be Bernie?
Okay?
We can always bring Ross Perot back.
No,
No.
you can't bring Ross Perot back. Ross Perot's dead.
Well, yeah, they can always
And
clone him
Ross-
with a hologram.
Well, H. Ross Perot Jr. has said he has no political aspirations.
Oh, yeah. And there are people like that. They don't want to follow in their family's footsteps.
Now, my
Well-
question on the Kennedy thing is, where the hell are the Lincolns to keep that trend going?
Because,
Because-
well, the only surviving Lincoln after Mary Todd died was their one surviving son, and he never got into politics.
So the Lincolns are gone.
The Lincolns are completely out of politics. Okay, their descendants want nothing to do with the American political system. Okay, because it killed Abraham. Okay, and
Fair.
okay, granted, okay, we had just come out of the Civil War when he got assassinated. It was because the South lost the Civil War that he was assassinated by a Democrat. Okay. I mean, you're better off asking the question where is the Mudd family at?
Who are the
Okay.
Mudd family?
Mudd, Mudd.
Yeah, who are they?
Look up the doctor that treated John Wilkes Booth for the broken leg.
Oh,
That's pretty far back.
That would be the Mudd family. I served with a direct descendant of the doctor that treated John Wilkes Booth. He took his Hippocratic oath to heart. He had no idea he was treating the assassin of the President of the United States at the time. But the fact that your name is Mudd became a slur should tell you something.
simply because
Yeah.
Dr. Mudd was ignorant of what Booth had done.
Yeah, but here's the thing is that it didn't prevent the Union Army from putting him on trial for treason.
Because he was
Because-
aiding and abetting the enemy.
Well, they had stayed at an inn at the same time 6 months before Booth assassinated Lincoln. Okay? That was the only connection the military could ever come up with. That was the only connection the government could come up with to say why Booth was treated specifically by Mudd and why Booth specifically sought out Mudd. Booth specifically sought out a doctor to treat his broken leg because it's a fucking broken leg. It fucking hurts.
Yeah, so he's going to go to a professional to get it fixed.
And he would go to a professional to get pain relievers because he was on fucking horseback. And you ever tried to kick a horse with a fucking broken leg?
I
Think
don't
that
want
shit's
to imagine
gonna
that.
hurt? And, you know, hey, Lord Burns, if you get the critter, you can show it.
No, my cat's playing fetch with me right now. She's
you
got
can
the
show
specific,
that.
she's got a specific mousey she likes to play fetch with, and she brings it back to me and I throw it for her. She's a smart kitty, but she likes her toys. There's certain toys she plays with.
Yep.
Don't you? Yes, you do. Yes, and she chirps. She doesn't meow. She chirps.
Don't let my wife hear that. She'll go up there and steal your cat.
I mean, she does meow once in a while, but she mostly chirps a lot. That's the thing. That's what she does. She chirps at me. Yes. Kitty.
All right, so
So I've taken a look at Sanders. He was registered as a Democrat prior to 91 when he was the mayor of Burlington, Vermont. And then when he went to the federal level, he claimed being an independent, and yet he has caucused with the Democrats every session since.
oh yeah, that's what that's the one thing that you can't get around is that the fact that he's never caucused with the Republicans ever, okay, and he's never caucused with the Independents, but he's still registered as an independent.
Hey, Kitty, what you doing?
But he's even said he's an independent. He's a democratic socialist. And when he gets questioned on what's the difference between an independent or a democratic socialist and just a socialist, he's always like, "Oh, there's a big difference," but he can never explain why there is the big difference.
Because he knows he's bullshitting.
Oh, and he did claim to be, he was with the Democratic Party itself in 2015, 16, 19, and 20.
Yeah.
And the more recent, for his his alignment in 19 and 20, that was a really big socialist push for the Democrats.
Oh, it was around 2015 is when the party itself started to go off the rails in that direction. And, well, what do you know? He was registered with the Democratic Party then.
Sounds like he may have been part of the genesis for that. And then 2019, 2020 rolls around. Oh, look at that. COVID. What a perfect little accident to enforce socialism. The extreme type of socialism.
I will say this. Okay. Had Michael Dukakis not been fucking around and then later finding out in '88, I was supporting Dukakis for president. Okay. After that, my first election that I could vote in, because I was born in '73, so in '88 I was how old?
15, roughly.
15, yeah, 15. But if I could have voted in the '88 elections, I'd have voted for Michael Dukakis. Okay.
That's because you love the cock.
He would have been decocking us.
Hey,
Jerry.
you opened the door with that one.
Hey, you know what?
It was bound
You
to
can
happen.
go to Walmart and go buy one of their $29 dildos that they sell in the stores now and fucking sit on it and rotate.
No, I'm just going to sit here and finish my soju.
Wait, with Red's dick up your ass? Okay, that's nice to know.
See, it's kind of hard to fit something in your hand that you need a microscope for.
Ooh.
Damn. I'm going to clip
But you can
that
feel
and
it's there.
I'm going to clip that and send that to Reds.
Go for it. He'll just fucking laugh and then call me an asshole next time I see him.
Which is probably going to be on Twitter.
So are we
No.
actually gonna make this a monthly thing, or are some of us gonna have to branch out on our own and start doing this separate
Hey.
from you?
Hey, I never told anyone to not do stuff on their own.
Yeah, but until you say, "Hey guys, go do stuff on your own," it's kind of hard for everybody else to make plans on Saturday
No.
nights to actually do
No. I've said for about a year now. I've said that
The last
this.
thing I got together, I was working.
Yeah, and I said back then, I don't know how much time I'm going to have for this. Well,
I know
keep
that
it.
didn't sound.
Well, keep in mind. Actually, it was over a year ago that I said is that at best this is going to be monthly because of everything I had going on, and that's when I was traveling a fuck ton for work. Now I'm not traveling a fuck ton for work, but I am schedule loaded.
Hang on, my sons connected their phones and their fucking Wii's to the fucking internet.
No, that's okay. I'm about to click some buttons and go finish this drink and then pass out and finish some of the shit tomorrow that I initially wanted to do today, but I'll be honest, I decided to go around and get free food for a good part of the day.
Yeah, that's what I was doing today, as much as I could.
Yeah, I hit IHOP, Chili's, and Applebee's.
Nice.
Ooh.
I did IHOP.
Y'all, I live in a goddamn little bullet town in the Ozarks that fucking has neither. The best I have is a Sonic and a fucking Mickey D's.
They had free offerings at Sonic.
Yeah, not here.
What?
Oh, that's
is it
fucked
because
up.
Is it because it's that
Dude,
small
man,
of a town?
my town is 3,000 fucking people. I'm between
Yeah,
Fort
they can't
Smith
quite afford that.
and okay, well, my town is between Fort Smith and Little Rock. Okay, I'm not on I-40. You figure out what highway I'm on now.
Oh,
But my highway comes out of Fort Smith and goes directly to Little Rock.
and you're lucky that there's even an exit.
But it's literally on the way between the rocks.
Where's... What's funny is I go to the the maps and I scroll over to take a look at Arkansas. They don't even have Little Rock marked.
Oh no!
I scroll in. It's still not marked. I can see Texarkana. I can see Hot Springs. I can see Pine Bluff. I can see Jonesboro, Fayetteville, Bentonville, Fort Smith, Russellville, Conway, which is actually where one set of my grandparents used to live.
Russellville. Wait a second, Terry. Wait a second. If you see Russellville, I'm about 30 miles west of that.
Yeah, so...
I'm named.
Oh, I see it.
I'm in a city.
I see it. No need to say it. I see it. And the public can't see it. But I'm just saying... I was just pointing out how little Google Maps cares about the capital of Arkansas, because the reason why Little Rock was not populated was because the state name itself was over it. You have to scroll in like 4 or 5 times before it will tell you, oh hey, here's Little Rock.
That's how nowhere it gets.
Jerry, let me ask you a question. Is my town that you've seen?
Oh, it's on a white road. It's not even a yellow road.
Oh no!
So
Google
that
Radio
should...
has not
When
been
you
there.
come across a
No.
European city,
Oh, dude, it fucking stood out like a sore thumb. But what I was mentioning, and this, so Cal, when you look at Google Maps, your main roads, your main state and interstate roadways are in yellow. Your county level roads and lower priority
White.
are in white. All the roads for 10 miles around You Wished are white.
Oh, geez.
My roads are racist.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I can get a little bit better resolution on phone because all the green roads point to Little Rock, even with the name right there. It's just I gotta zoom in a little more to get that. Oh boy.
No,
Yeah, that is-
no. Let me explain something to you about my county. There are 2 county seats in my one county.
That is.
And I'm on
Wow,
the
that
north
is-
side of the mountain. No,
Oh,
I am on
that
the
is just-
north. I am on the north side of the mountain. That is the county seat for the north side of the mountain. The mountain divides the 2 county seats. And I'm literally the highest point in Arkansas.
Yeah,
That is what
that
it's really
sounds like. That sounds like Nowheresville.
Yeah, but you know what? We've got fishing and hunting everywhere. Dude, I got a bear within a quarter mile of me.
A bear?
Like fucking legit, I've got a black bear within a quarter mile of my apartment.
Okay, so nothing too serious to worry about. Maybe just a little vandalism.
You know, that's the dude, man, the meth heads around here. Man, I thought I had it bad in Athens, Texas. Dude, the meth heads around here are on a fucking another level.
Let me guess. Somehow worse than Florida, man.
Just a different
you see-
flavor.
No, no. You've seen the videos where the mixture of methamphetamine and fentanyl are turning people into literal zombies.
Oh no, it's that.
Oh, it's we've got that and then some.
Oh, so it's actual Walking Dead season 5.
Oh no! This is Walking Dead target practice here.
May as well just go open season on them at this
We're on
point.
the level of fuck around and find out because you're gonna get shot. The fuck you find out.
So the only way to survive as one of them is to just play dead.
You don't play dead. You just fucking start shooting.
If that's what it takes to clean up the streets at this point, may as well.
Dude, the problem is that the prosecutor is a bitch and the sheriff is a cunt. Need I say more?
Have them be the first to go.
Yeah, to see that those are the kind of comments you kind of want to worry about there, Cal.
Because Cal, here's the thing: is that the problem with the sheriff and the problem with the county prosecutor is that they come from 2 different lines of a long-standing feud in Arkansas. Okay, so it doesn't matter who we get for sheriff because they're going to be on one side of the family. And as soon as the voters figure out, hey, the outgoing sheriff, because they always announce when they're outgoing, is going to run against either the next sheriff is going to be one of 2 families, okay, or a distant relative of one of the 2 main family lines in this county.
Just start playing those banjos.
Man, Deliverance started playing. Deliverance started playing when I came up for Thanksgiving last year. Okay,
I bet the trees look pretty round over there.
dude, man, we've got people with fucking. I mean, goddamn, who has seen the hills have fucking eyes? You know all the you remember the mutant TV shows where it was all the genetic inbreeding mixed with the radioactive waste material type movies that we see.
The only
That's
thing I can
what
think-
we have. That's what we
The only-
have here in my county in Arkansas.
Sloth from the Goonies.
Yeah, that would be tame though, because these people are knucking futz. They're not mentally retarded; they're just knucking futz, but they look like Sloth from the Goonies.
Wow.
Oh, so Sloth from the Goonies in an R-rated movie.
So
Let's
special,
put it
special
this way.
sort of fun.
Let's put it this way, okay? My in-laws are from California, okay? Except for my father-in-law.
I'm sorry.
My father-in-law is from Conway, Arkansas. Okay.
That explains why there's family that way.
Yeah. Okay. And thankfully, my wife was adopted. I'm just going to say that.
Oh.
Because trust me, if it weren't for the fact that there were certain promises in place before my wife's adopted mother died, I wouldn't even be here right now, nor would my wife and my kids. But promises were made. So I get the pleasure of dealing with them. I get the pleasure. I get the pleasure of them informing my dad on a daily basis what I'm doing, whether I'm doing good, doing bad, whether I'm drinking or not, whether I'm still smoking or not, all of that. And then I get to hear that from my brothers.
And your father's still in the loop. Why?
Because it's
especially after he told me back last March that if me and my wife ever got together, he was done. So why is he still in the loop? Well, because he violated Arkansas civil statutes, which he's about to find out the level of fuck around that he pulled when he said that he was done.
Mm-hmm.
But he interfered with my marriage, and marital interference here is an actionable offense under Arkansas civil statutes. Thank God for Arkansas, because Texas never would have heard this case.
How many years in prison are we talking?
We're talking civil action. It's not.
So it'd be monetary, not criminal.
Yes, and I can nail my father up to $50 million.
50 million.
50. That's the maximum without a divorce. That is the maximum I could seek from marital interference.
50, 50, followed by 6 other zeros.
Yes.
Yes. But to get that level of award is, one, going to be tough, and two, I'm sure that the benchmark for even getting the judgment in your favor is going to be rather fun. But looking at the time, what we're going to end this with, okay, all three of you, take a look in VTW crew chat on the server. I am about to post something that is not going to be shown on air, but this is going to be, well, you know what? The text that goes along with it is just going to sum it up exactly, which is, here's what I offer as penance for the show tonight.
You offer no penance. Hang on a second. VTW crew chat.
Nice.
Yes.
With all the stuff going on in the world, I just thought I would brighten up your day. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.